Welcome to episode 11 of Knitting by the Bay. My name is Christy, and this is my place on YouTube where I love to talk about all things fiber arts, mostly knitting, sometimes sewing, sometimes cross stitch, or whatever other kinds of crafts I'm into at the moment. If you've been here before, then you probably notice something very different, a big change, and that is I cut my hair. Well, I didn't cut it. I had my hair cut. And yeah, I decided to go short. My hair was pretty long. It was down to about here, but it was getting pretty dry, and I just thought it was time for a change. I've had short hair a lot of times in my life, so it's not really anything different for me. But yeah, I also am really trying to grow my bangs out, which seems to be taking forever. So I thought if I cut it, then I'm a little bit closer to having the bangs grown out. Yeah, so that's one of the new things that's going on here. I haven't been filming a video for quite a while now, and that's because it's the summer holidays and my son's been home from school. He's had friends over. It's just been noisy in the house, so I haven't had any time alone to film a video. So today he was invited to go to a birthday party, so I thought it was a perfect time for me to be able to sit down and talk with you guys about some of the things that are going on. I've got, I think, 2 finished objects. I've got 2 works in progress. I've got 2 finished sewing objects and a lot of plans for some fall knitting and some more fall sewing as well. So I'm really excited about that. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, please stick around and let's get started. My first finished object I wanted to share with you is a pattern by Caitlin Hunter called Misurina. And this is my finished top. It's a really cute summer top that includes color work, it has cables, it has lace, it's got everything. And it was a super fun pattern to knit. I enjoyed this. I felt it was very engaging because you're moving through all the sections and you're not doing a lot of it at the same time. Like, you do the lace first. Once that's done, you're starting the color work. The cable runs all the way down here, but it's not too much to handle at one time. And it really keeps your interest. I found the pattern was very well written, very easy to understand. And yeah, I really enjoyed knitting this. I didn't really enjoy knitting with this yarn. I found it a bit like stretchy in a weird way. So my stitches seem to not be very even. Even when you look at it now, it doesn't feel like the stitches are very neat and tidy. I also have decided that I don't really enjoy wearing summer knits, no matter what the yarn is made out of. This is Tynn Lina, so it's a combination, I think, of I put it up on the screen because I can't really remember right now, but it's got linen. It might have cotton in it too. I can't remember off the top of my head. But even putting this on, I felt it's just too warm for me in the summer. I much prefer to wear like a cotton top or tank top, like not a knitted one. And so I didn't wear this at all. And I don't think I will wear it very much. Another thing about this is I feel like I might be a tighter knitter than Caitlin Hunter. And even though I did sort of a gauge swatch, I didn't really do a full gauge swatch. So I just knit about an inch or two just to check my my stitch gauge, not my row gauge. So my stitch gauge was on, but I don't really know about my row gauge, and I'm just being honest with you. That is what I did. And so now I feel like this collar is not as big, like I can barely get it over my head. And in her picture, it looks like a much wider collar. And I've had this problem with, this is now the 3rd or 4th Caitlin Hunter pattern that I have done. And I have the same issue that my collar, my neckline never looks the same as the picture. So I don't know really what that's about, but I don't know if it's that I'm a tighter knitter. I did hear in a video, like some other podcasters' video said that if you're an English knitter and the pattern is written by a continental knitter, sometimes you have like tighter stitch gauge because continental knitting can be looser. I don't know if that's true, but I am an English knitter, so possibly that is what's going on there. I ended up doing my sleeves longer than the pattern said. I did them about 3.5 inches longer because I wanted them to sort of come to the same length as these ones. And I also knit the body a bit longer than what she suggested. But everything else I did the same. What was I going to say? Yeah, so I feel like the sleeves and where the underarm is too tight on me. It doesn't feel comfortable. And it could also be that I have very broad shoulders as well. So possibly that is why. I probably should have sized up to a size 4. I knit this in a size 3. Yeah, so that is what my Misurina looks like. And I will probably never ever wear it. But it was a lot of fun to knit, and like I said, the pattern was very easy to understand. So I do recommend it to you if you do enjoy wearing summer knits. So that was finished object number 1. I have also my finished object number 2, which is also another Caitlin Hunter pattern. And this is a sweater that I've wanted to knit for a very long time now. And I've always been looking at it and dreaming of like what colors I would knit it in. And yeah, just being super excited to one day cast this sweater on. And I did it and I finished it. And I will show you what it looks like. Normally I don't keep my sweaters on hangers, but just for the purpose of showing you in the video, I put them on some hangers today. So this is my finished Birkin, and I'm super happy with how it turned out. I love the yarn choice. I love the colors. It was so much fun to knit, and I definitely recommend this pattern if you're interested in knitting it. I used Rerum, I don't know how to say that, Natura Ulysse in the colors Poivre Blanc for the main color, Heure Bleue, Eucalyptus, and Bruyere. And yeah, super happy with how it turned out. I have a few things to say about this pattern. So I think this pattern is one of Caitlin Hunter's very early, like one of her first patterns, and it was published in a magazine. And I think that a lot of people, there were some complaints about this pattern, and mostly it was about, again, like the neckline and the yoke of this pattern. And so she went on and she fixed the pattern. She updated the pattern to include, I think it was more increases in the yoke to try and solve that problem. People were having this problem with the yoke being like funneling up the neck and not fitting properly. And so because I purchased the updated version of it, I thought, okay, that problem has been solved. And yeah, so I cast it on and I started knitting on it, and I talked about it in my last video. And then a very nice viewer commented on that video to say, yeah, there are problems with the yoke and it funneling and whatever. And I said, well, I think that she has updated this pattern to include more increases to solve that problem. And she said, yeah, no, I have the updated pattern and it still is a problem. And so I was already like quite far down on the yoke at that point. And I thought, I'm just going to keep going with it. I'm not going to undo it because the viewer had said that you could go in and look at other projects, and some people had done a different way of doing the increases in the yoke, excuse me, and they had solved that problem. And I thought, like, I'm not really that good at changing a pattern at this point. and I don't want to undo all of this that I've done so far. And I thought, I'm just going to go with it because there were a lot, this pattern has been knit a lot of times, and there were a lot of projects that looked really great. So I just thought, I'm just going to go with it, and I'm going to try and block it out. And maybe I can stretch out that yoke, and maybe it will be okay. So that is what I did. And I blocked it out. I stretched the yoke a lot when I blocked it, and I pinned it and everything. It did help a little bit, but it does still sort of funnel up a bit at the neck. And if you pull it down, the front here will sort of choke you a little bit. So I don't know what's better. But yeah, I'm going to try it on for you. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about, and you can see. And I will be right back. So here it is, my finished Birkin. And yeah, as you can see, it has a bit of a weird neckline to it. And then if you do stretch it down, you can stretch it down, hold the sleeves down a bit, and it will kind of stretch out. But then it does get tight on your neck here. So I don't know. It doesn't totally bother me. I still love the sweater. I'll show you. I love the yarn, and I definitely will wear this sweater a lot, even with the weirdness here. So I don't know. Have you knit the Birkin, and did you end up having this weird neckline? This is now, what was the first one that I knit? Oh, my Soldotna crop has a very different neckline than the one in the sample picture, and I talked about that on one of my past videos as well. I do really like the neckline, and it's fine because it's there's nothing really wrong with it. It just doesn't look like the sample picture. So I don't know what's going on with me and Caitlin Hunter's patterns, but I seem to have a very different neckline in all of my sweaters. So anyway, let's get on to talk about the rest of the pattern. I was working on this when we went to the movies, when I was just doing the stockinette stitch, and it was such a great pattern to knit on because we went to see the movie Twisters. And I don't know if you've seen that movie, but it was a lot of fun, very intense with all of the twisters in the movie. And so when I'm like feeling like anxious or tense or something, I just like knit really super fast. So I got a lot of knitting done in the movie theater, and that was my first time ever bringing my knitting to the movies. And my husband was like, "Are you seriously going to knit in the theater? Like, are you not gonna watch the movie?" I'm like, "I do watch the movie because I don't have to look at my knitting when I'm doing stockinette." So I'm like, I really find I concentrate better when I'm working on my knitting. And the same goes when I have a friend over or something and we're like hanging out talking. I'll always knit, and I feel like I concentrate better on our conversation when I'm knitting. I don't know if you guys are the same. But anyway, so it was a great project to bring to see the movie Twisters. And what else? It has an interesting construction in this sweater because it's an A-line shape in the body. And you don't do that by increasing, you do that by changing your needle size. So you just go up a needle size, and then you go up another needle size, which I didn't do. I only went up one needle size because I didn't want too much of an A-line shape. But that worked to give it a good start to the A-line. And that was interesting. I've never done that before. And let me see what size. I did size 3. And it also has a split hem in the pattern, and I decided not to do that. So I just did, regular ribbing. So I found there were some rows in this where there's some rows that were 3 different colors, which I found a little tricky to do, a little bit annoying when you're knitting color work. I try to knit one color with English style, one color continental, and then you have like a third color that you've got to, so I would, pick up and drop the yarn in my right hand for my English knitting to knit that one. I did decide to do 4 colors in, I think it's a few 1 or 2 rows or something, or 3 rows that have 4 colors, which is not really a part of the pattern, but I decided to do that for my own color work. And so yeah, that was a little tricky to have 4 different colors, but it was only for like 1 or 2 rows, so it wasn't such a big deal. Also, I did a different rate of decreases for the sleeves. In the pattern, I think it's, bracelet length or a bit shorter. That's how they look in the pattern. And I decided to do mine like, a bit longer. So I just went with my own decreases and just like kept trying it on and just deciding then what I would do. And yeah, I think about that's about all I wanted to say about the Birkin. So I do recommend this pattern if you are able to kind of change up what's going on here in the neckline, if you are skilled enough to do that, or if you don't mind having this sort of look to it. And yeah, I don't mind. I'm happy that I made it. I really like this pattern. I think you could also use this color work chart on a different sweater, and if you're able to figure out charts and stuff like that, that would look really good as well. So yeah, had a lot of fun with it. It didn't take me too long. I'd say it took me about a month to do while I was knitting on some other things as well. So yeah, pretty happy with it. It's a bit warm though, so I'm going to take it off and I will be right back. I hope you enjoyed some of that footage from up north. My dad and my stepmom have a cottage that is near Huntsville area in Ontario. And yeah, we went up there and spent the day with them. It was my husband's birthday as well this week. So we went and celebrated his birthday. The kids, my son and my stepson, went swimming and they went tubing. And yeah, we just had a really nice afternoon there. And I was just wanted to film some of the flowers in my dad's garden. He is really into gardening for the past few years now, and he does a really beautiful job at the gardens all around the cottage. So I wanted to take some video of that and some video of the lake. So I hope you enjoyed that. And now let's get into some of my works in progress. So the first whip I wanted to share with you is my flower cardigan by Sandnes Garn. I've been working on this one for quite a while. I cast it on for my birthday back in March, and I've just been slowly working on it. I do a little bit, I'm trying to do work on this one on the weekends, but I'm not really super strict about it or anything. If I want to work on something else, I do. But I try for the most part just to pick this one up on the weekend and work a little bit on it. So I will show you what I've got so far, and it kind of looks like a bit of a mess. But this is that's the front. This is where I'm going to be steeking it to turn it into a cardigan, and this is the back. So it's knit. I talk a lot about this in one of my previous episodes, but this one is knit bottom up in the round, and you cast on some extra stitches at the front that you're going to be cutting open or steeking, and then you're going to knit your button band there. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I really am enjoying knitting this. It's a very, very simple pattern. Once you get going with this, with the color work, you can kind of memorize it, really. It's, you know, very, very simple. And it's interesting because I've knit up to the armhole. And then when you get to the armhole, you're going to cast off some stitches at the underarm. And then you're going to just continue knitting across the back, just back and forth. You just leave the front stitches just on the same needle, and then you just knit back and forth on the back part. And then you're decreasing to shape the armhole. And once you get up to the neckline, you're going to put your neck stitches on hold, and then you continue up this one side, and then you continue up the other side in the mirror image of this one. And then you cast them off. And then you go back, your stitches for the front are still on the needle, and then you're going to start at one side and you're going to knit back and forth across the front. I did find it a bit confusing in the decreases for the armholes. I think were a bit confusing, and it's not really the neatest job on the back side because for, when I'm knitting back and forth, like knitting flat, I found it very difficult to catch my floats. I haven't really done that before, so I just thought it's just this part here. It's just a little bit. It's not a big deal. So it's not really terrible. It's not the worst, but it's not the neatest either. But it was a lot of fun. And again, when I was knitting flat for the color work, I decided to just knit English style. So I would pick up and drop the different yarns as I was going along. I just found it easier than trying to purl with two hands. I'm not very good at purling continental. So yeah, I just decided just for that, just to pick up and drop it. Not a big deal. This pattern, it's free. So it's, I can show you the pattern. It is all on one page pretty much. There's a little section on a second page, but basically that is it. The writing is extremely small on this copy that I have, but it all fits onto one page. So there's not a lot of detail. It just kind of assumes that you know what you're doing here. It's not very complicated though, but yeah, there's not a lot of hand holding in this pattern. It is also not very size inclusive. I think that it goes up to there's 6 sizes, and I'm knitting the size 3, and it's quite snug. I can tell it's extremely fitted. I'm going to block it out, and hopefully it's going to stretch a bit, but I did read on a lot of people's project pages that it's quite a fitted cardigan. So yeah, I can't imagine that even the size 6 is, very size inclusive. So that's a negative thing about the pattern. But other than that, I am really enjoying this. I think it's such a statement piece, this color work, and I'll be really excited to wear it one day when I finish it, which it might take me the rest of this year to get this done. I'm not too concerned with going quickly on this. I'm just having fun with it. So that is my first work in progress. My second work in progress is a pattern by Isabell Kraemer, and it's called Forager. And I really liked the look of this pattern. It's very like a basic sort of sweater, but it has some interesting details to it. The first thing is it has a cable that goes down the front, it goes down the back, the sleeves, and then there are 2 cables that run down the sides as well. I'm really enjoying knitting this pattern. It's a lot of fun. It's very clearly written and very, very easy to understand. It's quite like simple knitting and fun potato chippy knitting, but it also has like a little bit of detail. It's got the cables. It also, I know it's a dark yarn, so it's hard to see, but you have a cable, that's the front and the back, and this beautiful cabling on the sleeve as well. And this pattern is worked seamlessly from the top down, and the yoke is shaped using a modified version of a contiguous set-in sleeve method. And it has this, I don't know if you can see this sleeve, but it has this beautiful seam, like faux seam that goes down the side, which will be the shoulder cap. And I just really like that detail. It makes it look like structured in a way, but it's super simple to do. And yeah, the cables are so much fun because they're not real cables. They're actually a mock cable. So you don't need a cable needle or anything like that. It's super simple, super easy to do, but it keeps you interested as you go along because there's, quite a few of the cables running through the sweater. It also has this is what I really liked about this pattern when I saw it, was at the bottom before you start the ribbing at the hem, it has a really pretty, I think it's called twisted braid that you do before you start on your ribbing. And I thought that was such a nice detail. And it's also at the sleeves, at the cuff of the sleeve as well. And so I'm really excited to learn how to do that. I've never done like a twisted braid type of thing before, so that'll be fun. And I think it just gives like such a nice finish to this sweater. So I'm using Rerum Natura Ulysse in the color Tempete, which is a really nice navy blue. And what I like about all of these colors in this line is they're all sort of like heathered looking. So it's not like super solid. It does have some heathering to it and gives it a little bit of texture to it, which I really like. So this is like a dark navy blue. And I love it. I picked this sweater because I want to wear it hopefully underneath the plaid vest that I made, which I talked about, I think, in my last episode. But I'm hoping to wear that in the fall with navy sweater, and it's like a green and navy plaid short sleeve, like it's a vest. It doesn't have sleeves. But I thought that would be really nice to wear with this color. So I'm excited about that. I definitely recommend this pattern. So far, it's been extremely easy to understand and a lot of fun as well. Yeah, so that's all I wanted to say about my forager. Let's talk about some of my future plans. So I'm really excited about planning some of my future fall knits. The first one that I have been, eyeing is the Scotch Pine, and that's by Alicia Plummer. And this is a really cute, like mock neck sweater with a colorwork yoke. And I really think that I want to make it, the same as the colors in her sample pictures. I like sort of an off-white or light gray, and then have the color work be in either this same navy color or like a deep forest green would be really nice too. And this is knit in a sport weight yarn, so this yarn Ulysse would be perfect for that pattern. Another one that I'm interested in is the Diagon Alley jumper by Fabel Knitwear. And I've been eyeing this sweater for a very long time because I really like her patterns. I really like the vintage style that she has. And so, yeah, I've been looking at a few of her patterns, and I really liked this one because of the super cute puff sleeves. I thought those were adorable, and I think it would look really cute in the Rerum Natura Gilliat yarn, which is a worsted weight yarn, and it is, I'm really looking at the one called Cedar, the color Cedar. I think that's a beautiful, like dusty sort of green color that I think would look really nice in this like jumper with the puff sleeves. And I'm hoping to make another pair of the Burnside Bibs in black, which I'll talk about in my sewing part of the video. But I think that that would look really cute under those that jumpsuit. So hopefully those two I will be casting on soon. I'm just waiting to finish up my forager, and then I will decide which one of those that I would like to make first. So that's very exciting. And now that is the end of my knitting content for this video. So if you're only here for the knitting, then thank you so much for being here, and I will see you again next time. But if you're interested in seeing some of the sewing projects and my future plans for sewing, then please stick around. I've been having a lot of fun sewing this summer. I've completed a lot of projects and had so much fun looking at patterns, looking at fabrics and everything. And yeah, so I wanted to share with you some of my finished objects. My first one is my Burda dress, and the number is 6339. And I made this using a linen from Blackbird Fabrics. And yeah, this is it. Probably gonna be hard to show you in this video. It's quite a long dress. It has a really cute waistband here that you, this dress was designed to be knit in a striped fabric. So it's a lot of fun to be able to put, you know, the opposite stripe going the other direction. I really enjoyed it. I did not really enjoy using this fabric. It is a really, really lovely fabric, but I felt for me and my skill level and everything, it's a bit stretchy, a bit shifty, and I had a lot of trouble trying to make the stripes line up. And, you know, I don't know if you can see in the video, but the stripes on the skirt sort of go a bit crooked. And probably if I'm wearing it, nobody could really see that, but I know it because I made it. So it kind of bothers me a little bit. Another thing about this was when I started to sew it up, I had cut all my pieces out and I had started sewing some of it. And when I got to the back panel, I realized that there is a bit of a flaw in the fabric. You can see there. And it looks like there was a hole and somebody had tried to fix it, or I don't know what happened there. But anyway, I contacted the company and let them know what happened. And they were super nice, got back to me right away and apologized and were like, you know, can you possibly cut around that part? And I said, unfortunately, I've already, you know, cut all the pieces and I only ordered enough to make this dress. And I had already started sewing it. So I couldn't do that. And so they were really nice and they said, oh, we found some more of this linen and we'll send you a couple yards or a couple meters of this. And I thought, like, okay, maybe I will try to fix this and unpick some of it and sew it, you know, sew it again. But I thought if I'm, you know, I might cause more harm to the fabric if I were to do that. So I decided not to. I decided just to continue on, and you know, it's at the back, and you know, I don't really notice it when I'm wearing it. So yeah, I just decided to just leave that. So I ended up using that fabric that they sent me to make another pair of Burnside Bibs, but this time I made them as shorts, and I decided to do the other version. There's two different versions to these pants. You can make them with darts in the back and a zipper, which is what I did with my first pair that I made, or you can just not do that, and you know, they're a bit more casual, a bit more baggy, looser fitting. So I decided to do that for the shorts, and yeah, I like the way that they turned out. I'll insert like either a picture or a video, I'm not sure, but I like the way that they turned out. But I do really think that the darts and the zipper just give it a much nicer fit. So when I make some more of these in the future, I'm definitely going to do that version. So speaking of that, I ended up ordering some more fabric from Blackbird Fabrics. I got some more of some more linen. This is the everyday linen. And this is just a scrap because I've already cut out the pieces for it. And this is the color denim. And I thought that these would be really cute for, you know, end of summer, early fall Burnside Bibs. And yeah, so I got that. I'm really excited to get started on the sewing part of that. As well, I purchased some, it's called Lived In Cotton Twill from Blackbird Fabrics as well, just in the color black. And I'm going to make another pair of Burnside Bibs. This is like a much thicker fabric, like not super thick, but thicker than the linen. And I thought that that would look really cute as a black jumpsuit. And so I think that these would look really cute over a cedar colored Diagon alley jumper. Yeah, so hopefully those things will become a reality. I don't know. I've got a lot of projects on the go right now, so very excited about that. I also bought some more of this, some more cotton twill fabric, black fabric, but I got it from Fabricville. But it's just another basic cotton twill, and I'm hoping to make a pair of Pietra pants, which I made a couple of pairs of those a few months ago, and they're such a nice fitting pair of wide leg pants. They're high-waisted. They just fit so nicely, and the pattern is very easy to understand. So I'd love to have a pair of like basic wide leg black pants because they just go with everything. So I'm excited for that. Hopefully I can come back sooner this time and share with you a lot more finished objects. Hopefully have my forager finished and have some progress going on either one of those new fall knits, and I should have another pair of Burnside Bibs. I'm excited to have those finished soon. So thank you again very much for joining me, and if you haven't already, and only if you want to, please consider subscribing to my channel. It really helps YouTube to let other viewers who are interested in the same crafty things that you and I are interested in to check out my channel. So that really helps also to motivate me to make more videos and share more things with you guys. So thank you again so much, and I hope you all are doing well and have had a wonderful summer so far, and are excited for getting started on some of our fall knitting. And I will see you again soon. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Here's my babe. She's casting on the Birkin from Petite Knits.
No, it's Caitlin Hunter.
Caitlin Hunter, look at these hands, these skills.